Toronto Blue Jays have officially hired Don Mattingly to be their new bench coach, and we're going to give you the real reason why they brought in Donnie Baseball. What's up, Jays fans? I'm your host, Peter Vryonis, alongside co-host Nick Gosse. We got a lot to get into today, but first, we want to thank you all for all the support that we've been getting. It's been unreal.
Unbelievable. We're so close to 4K subscribers. 81.5% of you guys who are watching are not subscribed, so if you enjoy the daily content, make sure to hit the subscribe button. But enough on that. Yeah, so Don Mattingly was officially hired yesterday, and tons of Jays fans out there are wondering, or perhaps wondering, why the Blue Jays hired him as opposed to other people. Obviously, he has a big track record, but we have the real reason today as to why. And Peter, I'll let you describe it.
There's no more nonsense in Toronto. That's what this move signifies to me. The Teoscar Hernandez trade was the first one to really prove that for this upcoming season. And now Don Mattingly, I mean, this guy, he never played in a World Series, but he played on some great Yankee teams. He was an MVP. He had great success in the major leagues, and he was just a consummate professional. And I really think this is going to show that the Jays that enough fooling around. It's time to win, and it's time to play up to expectations. And that's exactly what this hire signifies.
Yeah, I mean, you said it. The real reason is, like you said, they got rid of Teoscar first, and that was kind of foreshadowing into this big move, which is, yeah, enough fooling around. Teoscar, obviously, phenomenal player. No discredit to him, but he had a lot of mental lapses, and we're not saying don't have fun. That's not what the Blue Jays are saying either. It's just there has to be a balance, because obviously what we've been doing hasn't really been working. I know a lot of people in the comments of our videos kind of said the same thing even before Teo was traded away, and like you said, no nonsense. And Don Mattingly was actually interviewed yesterday. He had his kind of introduction to the Blue Jays. And here's what he had to say. So Mattingly said that other teams approached him, but Jays are by far the best fit. Added that he's here to support John Schneider in whatever capacity that looks like. And the most important thing, that was the most important thing as he discussed his role with the Jays. And Mattingly also said that the Jays are a really interesting team. Bo Bichette among players to reach out to new bench coach in the last day or so. Mattingly also has a dog named Bo. So what are your initial thoughts on what he said? We have a couple more screenshots describing what he said, but I think the big thing here is Bo reached out, and obviously I think Bo will have, and we discussed it in the last video, Bo will have a pretty important impact on Don, especially in the field.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, this was the perfect fit in my eyes. And Don Mattingly seems to think that the Blue Jays are headed in the right direction, that they're ready to win. He left the Marlins. He agreed to mutually part ways with them. So I think he wants to win. He sees an opportunity here in Toronto to do that. And the one thing that I really remember from last season was the Buck Martinez rant when Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was running the second base. And, well, I don't know if you could call that running. He was trying to leg out a single to make it a double, but he was kind of jogging. He was jogging out of the box, and he thought he hit a homer, and he got thrown out at second base. And for the rest of the inning, Buck Martinez just said, you know, you have these guys having fun, and you want to have them have fun and enjoy the game of baseball and have a smile on their faces. But when it's time to play ball, you got to be serious, and you got to make winning plays. I mean, the Jays didn't hustle much last year, and that all started from the top with their best players. Teoscar Hernandez, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Bo Bichette. Those guys didn't hustle last year. Now you're bringing in an old school guy like Don Mattingly. I think he's really going to enforce that on these guys, and John Schneider is right behind him, because as soon as Schneider took over, that was his mantra. He said, I want you guys to hustle. I want you guys to use your athleticism. They're a very young team. They have athletic pieces all around the diamond, and they should be utilizing that to their advantage.
Yeah, I think, like you said, the big message was hustle, and that's what, again, I also think that the trading for Matt Chapman also helped kind of begin that. Matt Chapman kind of is very serious. Obviously, he has fun, but he is kind of the leader there. And then trading Teoscar, now getting Don Mattingly is all coming together to hopefully, we want them to still have fun. Nothing really changes besides the fact that and I think they're learning that as well. I think Vladdy and Bo particularly, they started to get better towards the end of the year. Teo, I don't know if it's just the way he plays or the way he looks like he plays. It doesn't really seem like he hustles, especially in the outfield, and obviously a few base running mistakes. But no need to harp on Teoscar too much there. We still love Teoscar, but Yeah, Don is. I'm excited for him. We have another thing here. Blue Jays front office didn't have much in the way of pre-existing relationships with Don Mattingly until last month, but they spoke often and clicked, per GM Ross Ekins, and that's very interesting. So it seems like it's something that kind of came to fruition recently. Didn't really, wasn't really long-term planning, and maybe the hiring of John Schneider made Don Mattingly be like, he's a young manager, obviously inexperienced at the MLB level for head, like being the main manager. Obviously, has tons of other experience, but maybe that was kind of the sign that Don wanted to help if he wasn't going to get a full time job somewhere.
No, he's definitely going to help John Schneider out a ton. I mean, John Schneider, he's a young manager, but he knows his way around the business. He's a baseball lifer. He's been a manager all throughout the minor leagues. This is obviously on the bigger stage right now, but I really do think that the Jays are moving in a different direction here. They're moving in the right direction, and the only thing that you can control in baseball is the intensity that you play with. I mean, you can show up to the ballpark every day, but you can't control some things. Sometimes the ball's not going to carry and you won't hit a homer. Sometimes that you're going to hit a line drive right to somebody right in their hands. But the one thing you can do is hustle down that first base line and make every routine play a tough play. And that's something that the Blue Jays didn't do. They got too comfortable. They relied solely on their talent. And I mean, they want to build around Bo Bichette. They want to build around Vladimir Guerrero Jr. But you need that fire under you. That fire under you that Alek Manoah has, and that's what Don Mattingly is really, I think, going to implement into this group along with John Schneider.
Yeah, I agree. And obviously, he's brought in for other reasons as well. He's a phenomenal manager, as we discussed in the past.
Sure.
He has tons of other things. I'll pop up this here. We showed this in yesterday's video, but I'll just give you another quick reminder. This is his record as manager. And I know a few people in the comments were saying that obviously his Miami Marlins record is really not that good, but you have to understand that that team is horrible. But he's super experienced. 11 years as a manager. He obviously played in the MLB as well. He's going to bring a lot of intangibles, but I think like we've been saying the whole video, the real reason is that they want to change it up. Not only change it up, but bring some more intensity to the clubhouse. And he's a leader, and he's a veteran, so he's going to be respected by the players one way or another, and that's another big thing. Obviously, John Snyder seems very respected, but bringing in another person who's respected is very key. And this is from John Gibbons, a tweet by John saying, Donnie Baseball, great hire. What an all-around great career. Has seen and done it all. Hashtag Blue Jays. John Gibbons, the legend, used to be obviously our manager. Do you have any thoughts on that? We wanted to throw that in there in case you guys didn't see that.
I love Gibby. I wish you showed the first reply to that tweet because it really cracked me up. The first reply was, "Oh, I wish it was you, Gibby," and he's like, "No, you don't. You need a fresh face."
Hey, yeah.
So I love to see Gibby still engaging with the Toronto fan base, and obviously, that team obviously still has a special place in his heart. And I love the memories that those John Gibbons led teams provided to me in my teenage years, and I'll never forget them. But yeah, I mean, if he's Gibby approved, then we got a good one on our hands.
Yeah. Shout out to Gibby. He got his own podcast going, so make sure to check that out if you like John Gibbons. But it's good to see him back in the Twitter scene. But yeah, this Don Mattingly hire, I haven't really seen many negative comments about it. There's nothing really to be upset about. Obviously, our former bench coach Casey Callendale, something like that, is going back to AAA to go head coach there. And so that's good for him, but obviously, I'm excited for Don. I'm just excited to see the impact he has immediately, both through spring training. We obviously have the winter meetings coming up very, very, very shortly. And Twitterverse is kind of going crazy. And I'll pop up this one last screenshot to kind of, from Mike Wilner saying, Don Mattingly just met the media, said a few teams approaching, none intriguing as the Blue Jays. We said that, and he'll be the bench coach, but will also help out with hitters and with Vladdy at first base. He won 9 Gold Gloves after all. Now, before we wrap it up, do you have any thoughts on that? That was a pretty telling tweet that, like you said, he's going to help in the field a lot, as well as the atmosphere in the room.
Look, he's 61 years old. He can't really play anymore in the field. I don't think he can hit anymore either at the major league level. But this addition can't hurt. It can't hurt a guy like Vladdy to have a former MVP in his ear, to have a 9-time Gold Glover in his ear, and it can't help a guy like it can't hurt a guy like Bo Bichette either, or a guy like Springer, or literally anyone on the team. This guy is a winner, although he never got a World Series in his career. He's just a consummate pro, like we said earlier in the video, and it'll help the Jays more than it'll hurt them. I don't think any negative could come out of this hiring. I do think a lot of positive. It's low risk, very high reward type signing. And for all of you out there saying, "Oh, this is just John Schneider's replacement," I really don't think so. I think he's there to help John Schneider, and John Schneider is safe. I mean, he showed what he can do last year. He needs a full season under his belt before we really judge who he is. You can't judge him off 2 playoff games, and he showed some great things, some positive signs last
Yeah,
season.
it's a good reminder. I forgot to address that. Yeah, if we wanted to get Don Mattingly as our coach or our manager, I think we would have just, hired him because he was available out there
Yeah,
clearly. So it doesn't really make much sense there. And maybe, I don't. Let's not even talk about that. John Snyder just got hired and recently,
he's
and
the guy.
yeah, I
He's
think
the
he will be
guy.
the guy. And if he does anything to change that, then we'll make plans accordingly. But I cannot see the front office, doing that as maybe a backdrop or whatever. But I don't think so. What I do know is that the support has been unbelievable. Hopefully you enjoyed this this real reason video, and it kind of brings a different atmosphere to the Blue Jays, and it's just been unbelievable the support we've been getting. We're so close to 4K subs. I think we're 200 away, maybe 250, and it's been unbelievable.
Yeah, thanks so much, guys. Donnie Baseball, baby.
See you tomorrow.